If you don't decide to win, you've already decided to lose. That's it. That's the truth. Harsh, yes. But life doesn't care about your excuses, your laziness, or your comfort zone. Life doesn't hand you victory. It demands you rip it from its grip. The battlefield of success is not for the half-hearted. It's for the ones who make a conscious, furious, unshakable decision to whine. You want respect. You want freedom. You want to stop crawling through the mud of mediocrity. Then make the decision right now that losing is not an option. Because let me tell you something, indecision is poison. It kills dreams faster than failure ever could. Failure teaches you. Failure builds you. But indecision, it leaves you rotting, stuck, paralyzed, while the world moves past you. And when that happens, don't cry about being left behind. You chose it. You allowed it. So if you're sick of being ordinary, if you're sick of living like you're nothing, then decide. Decide to buy-in. Victory begins in silence, in the mind, long before it ever shows itself to the world. It begins with a decision so fierce, so absolute, that it leaves no room for retreat, no space for compromise. A decision is not a casual thought, not a fleeting desire, not a polite wish whispered into the air. A decision is a declaration of war against mediocrity, a contract signed in your own blood that says you will not back down, you will not surrender, you will not allow yourself to live beneath your potential. When you decide to win, you are telling the universe, I am here to take what is mine, and nothing will stand in my way. That moment, that instant where you refuse every other outcome is where the seeds of greatness are planted. Understand this, the human mind is a battlefield. Every day it is attacked by doubt, fear, hesitation, and excuses. Most people lose that battle before they even take their first step because they never made a real decision. They say they want to succeed, but they don't cut off the exits. They don't eliminate the safety nets. They want to win, but they keep the option to quit. That is why they fail. The difference between those who rise to the top and those who sink into obscurity is not talent, not luck, not even opportunity. It is the power of a decision made without hesitation and carried through without mercy. Think about it. The greatest victories in history did not come from people who had everything lined up perfectly in their favor. No. They came from individuals who drew a line in the sand and said, I will not cross back. I will burn the bridges behind me. I will destroy the path of retreat. The only direction I will move is forward. That kind of decision is terrifying because it eliminates comfort. It eliminates the easy way out, but it is also liberating. Once you have decided to win, you free yourself from the chains of indecision. There is no more wasting time asking, should I try? Or what if I fail? Because the decision is already made. Failure is not the end. It is just another step on the path you already committed to walk. The truth is, life bends to the will of the decided. The world respects the unshakable. When you look around, you will see countless people drifting through life, waiting for luck to bless them, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But while they wait, the decided move. While they hesitate, the decided act. While they question if it's worth it, the decided are already bleeding for it, sweating for it, fighting for it. That is why the decided rise while the indecisive rot in mediocrity. A true decision is ruthless. It is not concerned with convenience or approval. It is not concerned with whether people understand your hunger or mock your ambition. When you decide to win, you give up the luxury of caring about opinions. And you give up the luxury of waiting for the perfect moment. You give up the pathetic comfort of blaming circumstances. You take responsibility for everything, because winners understand that their fate lies not in chance, but in choice. The decision itself gives you power. It hardens your spirit. It fuels you when energy runs out. It steadies you when fear creeps in. It pulls you out of failure when defeat tries to drag you down. Consider how powerful it is to wake up every morning with a decision already made. Most people wake up and negotiate with themselves. Do I feel like getting up early? Do I feel like working hard today? Do I feel like fighting for my dreams? The decided don't negotiate. The decided don't ask. The decided act. They wake up with one thought burned into their minds. I have already chosen victory, so my actions today must match my decision. That is where discipline comes from. That is where persistence is born. It's not about feelings. It's about honoring the decision you already made. The danger is that too many live in half decisions. They decide to win until it gets difficult. They decide to win until the pain shows up. They decide to win until people doubt them, laugh at them, or oppose them. That is not a decision. That is a wish dressed in cheap clothing. A decision cannot be undone by struggle. A decision cannot be erased by doubt. A decision cannot be broken by resistance. If your so-called decision can be reversed, then it was never a decision in the first place. You must understand that when you decide to win, you must do so with finality. Not, I will try. Not, I'll give it a shot. Not, I'll see how it goes. That language is poison. A true decision sounds like this: I will win or I will die trying. There is no other option. That might sound extreme to the weak, but that level of intensity is what greatness demands. The world is brutal. Life is merciless. Success is not handed out like candy. It is seized by those who are willing to stake everything on their decision. When you stand in front of yourself, when you look in the mirror and you finally declare, I am done living beneath myself. I am done allowing fear to dictate my choices. I am done letting excuses steal my destiny. From this day forward, I decide to win. That is the moment your life shifts. That is the moment you stop being average. That is the moment you ignite the fire that cannot be extinguished. Because once a decision like that is made, truly made, there is no going back. There is no surrender. There is no defeat. There is only forward, only fight, only victory. Comfort is the silent assassin of ambition. It creeps into your life slowly, disguising itself as peace, as relaxation, as reward. But the truth is, comfort is a cage, and while you sit in it thinking you're safe, the lock is closing, the walls are tightening, and your potential is suffocating to death. Understand this with absolute clarity. You cannot live in comfort and expect to achieve victory. The two cannot coexist. Winning is violent. Winning is uncomfortable. Winning demands sacrifice, while comfort demands surrender. Every second you choose comfort, You hand over your crown to someone hungrier, someone relentless, someone who is willing to embrace the very discomfort you are running from. Look around at the masses. They're addicted to comfort. They spend their days chasing ease, their nights drowning in distraction. They convince themselves they've earned a break. But what have they earned really? A paycheck that barely sustains them. A life of mediocrity they secretly despise. Comfort is what keeps them there. Comfort whispers, stay in bed. You deserve it. Comfort whispers, skip the work. There's always tomorrow. Comfort whispers, you're doing better than most. That's enough. But here's the raw, unfiltered truth. That is not enough. That is never enough. That is the language of losers. The world doesn't reward good enough. The world rewards those who push beyond it. Comfort is the enemy because it convinces you to settle. And the moment you settle, you stop growing. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. People think pain kills dreams. No, pain fuels them. It is comfort that kills dreams quietly, slowly, without you even realizing it until it's too late. Comfort has no scars, no wounds, no warning. It simply lulls you into mediocrity until you look back one day and realize your life amounted to nothing but wasted chances. Winners despise comfort. Winners know that comfort is a trap designed to keep them average. That's why they reject it, why they push beyond it, why they wake up when the world sleeps, why they keep grinding when their bodies scream for rest. While others are on the couch, they're on the battlefield. While others are scrolling, they're building. While others are eating their third plate of comfort food, they're sharpening their bodies, sharpening their minds, sharpening their weapons for war. That's why they win, because they do what others refuse to do. Let me make this brutally clear. Comfort will always be waiting for you. It doesn't need to be chased. It doesn't need to be earned. It will welcome you with open arms whenever you quit, whenever you give up, whenever you stop fighting. That's why it's dangerous, because it's easy. Because it's easy, because it's everywhere, because it will always be the tempting option. But victory hides behind sweat, behind pain, behind endless nights of discipline. It does not come cheap. It does not come easy. It does not come to those who bow to comfort. Do you want to know why most people never taste victory? It's because the moment life gets difficult, they run back to comfort. The moment their muscles ache, they stop training. The moment their plan hits resistance, they abandon it. The moment criticism stings, they retreat into silence. They treat comfort as their shelter. But winners see comfort as the enemy. Winners know that every moment of comfort costs them momentum, and every moment of lost momentum gives their competition the chance to pull ahead. And in this world, being a second late, a step slow, or a little softer than your rival means you lose. The decision to win requires war against comfort. It requires waking up earlier than you want to. It requires grinding longer than you feel like. It requires doing the work when you're exhausted, when you're doubting yourself, when everything in your body screams for you to stop. That's the test. That's where the line is drawn between those who fantasize about greatness and those who claim it. If you can stare comfort in the face and spit on it, if you can look at the easy way and say, not not for me, then you are stepping into the territory of champions. The truth is, comfort is seductive because it feels good now. It gives you temporary satisfaction. But satisfaction is not victory. Victory demands sacrifice. Sacrifice is hard, it's uncomfortable, it hurts, but it lasts. Comfort leaves you empty, but sacrifice leaves you immortal. Every champion, every warrior, every legend was built by saying no to comfort and yes to suffering. They chose discipline over distraction, sacrifice over ease, discomfort over laziness. And because they did, the world remembers their names. So ask yourself, are you chasing comfort or are you chasing greatness? Are you living for now or are you living for forever? Every time you hit snooze, every time you put off your goals, every time you choose the couch over the grind, you are making a decision. You are deciding to stay small, deciding to stay ordinary, deciding to surrender. And if that's the life you want, keep choosing comfort. But if you want victory, if you want to stand on the peak of your potential, if you want to silence every doubt and prove yourself unstoppable, then you must declare war on comfort, because victory doesn't come to the comfortable. It comes to the hungry, the relentless, the warriors who sacrifice their comfort for their crown. And if you dare to call yourself one of them, then every day from this moment on, you must prove it, not with words, not with wishes, but with blood, with sweat, with sacrifice. That is the price. That is the path. Comfort is the enemy, and if you truly decide to win, you will crush it beneath your feet. Pain is the price of glory, and there is no discount. There is no shortcut. There is no cheat code that allows you to bypass the suffering and still claim the crown. Every ounce of greatness you crave will demand that you bleed for it, sweat for it, cry for it, and sacrifice for it. The weak run from pain. They curse it. They see it as punishment. But the strong, the relentless, the victorious, they welcome pain as the forge of their character, because deep down they understand that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher, the test, the proof that you are moving closer to the life you demand for yourself. Look at anyone who has achieved anything extraordinary and you'll see scars carved into their journey. They weren't handed victory wrapped in ribbons. They were broken down, beaten, pushed to the edge of their limits, and then pushed even further. And in that furnace of suffering, they became something greater than they were before. That is the law of winning. The glory you dream of is only unlocked through the door of pain. And that door does not open easily. You must be willing to kick it down again and again until it breaks. The truth is this: pain will visit you no matter what path you choose. If you choose to chase greatness, pain will hammer you with rejection, failure, exhaustion, and sacrifice. If you choose the path of comfort and mediocrity, pain will still find you. Only this time it will come in the form of regret, shame, and the crushing weight of wasted potential. So the real question is not whether you will suffer. You will. The question is, will you suffer for something that elevates you, or will you suffer for nothing? There is no progress without pain. Muscles don't grow without tearing. Minds don't sharpen without stress. Dreams don't manifest without sleepless nights and relentless effort. Pain is the price of entry for anything worth having, and yet most people flee from it the second it knocks on their door. They want the rewards, but not the process. They want the victory, but not the sacrifice. They want the crown, but not the thorns. That is why they will never know glory, because glory does not come cheap, and it does not come to cowards. You must learn to embrace pain, to stare it down with defiance. When your body screams to stop, that is the signal to keep going. When the world throws obstacles at you, that is the chance to prove your resilience. When failure slams you into the ground, that is your invitation to rise stronger. Every blow you endure is not proof that you should quit. It is proof that you are still in the fight. Pain does not mean you're losing. Pain means you're alive. Pain means you're progressing. Pain means you're earning the right to one day hold your victory high. Do not mistake this. Pain is not supposed to feel pleasant. It is not supposed to be comfortable. It will stretch you, break you, and at times make you question whether you can go on. But this is exactly why it is powerful, because it forces you to evolve. Comfort never changes you. Comfort keeps you the same. Pain is the sculptor that chisels away weakness and reveals the strength that was buried within you all along. Without it, you will never know what you are truly capable of. There will be nights when you are drained, when your body aches, when your mind is filled with doubt. Those nights are not curses. They are opportunities. They are the exact moments where winners separate themselves from losers. Losers quit, winners push. Losers run to comfort. Winners run through fire. Losers look for excuses. Winners look for the next step, no matter how hard it is. Pain is the dividing line, and the side you choose will determine your destiny. Remember this, every scar you carry is a story of survival. Every tear you shed is evidence of your fight. Every drop of sweat is a down payment on your glory. Pain is the currency, and every second you endure, it is an investment that compounds into strength, discipline, and unshakable resilience. One day, when you finally reach that summit, when you finally hold that victory in your hands, the pain will not be what you remember as punishment. It will be what you remember as the pathway. There is a simple truth the weak refuse to accept. Pain is temporary, but glory is eternal. The pain of training, the pain of rejection, the pain of sacrifice, it will pass. But the glory of victory, the pride of knowing you endured, the satisfaction of proving yourself unstoppable, that will stay with you forever. Those who run from pain live with regret that gnaws at them until their last breath. Those who embrace pain live with legacy, with pride, with the knowledge that they demanded the best of themselves and refuse to settle for anything less. So when pain arrives, and it will, do not curse it. Do not hide from it. Do not beg for it to end. Instead, rise into it. Walk toward it. Embrace it like a warrior embraces the clash of battle. Because pain is the test. Pain is the proof. Pain is the key. And when you pay its price fully, when you give everything you have, when you endure what others cannot endure, that is when glory opens its arms to you. That is when victory becomes yours. Discipline is the blade that cuts through every excuse, every weakness, every obstacle standing between you and victory. Talent may get you noticed. Luck may give you a chance. Motivation may spark a fire inside you for a moment, but only discipline keeps that fire burning when the world turns cold. Only discipline transforms a decision into destiny, It is the foundation of greatness, the relentless force that keeps you moving forward when everything you wants to stop. Without discipline, dreams collapse. With discipline, even the impossible becomes inevitable. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary has never been talent. The graveyards of history are filled with talented people who wasted their gifts. They relied on natural ability. They waited for inspiration. They depended on flashes of energy, and then they disappeared. Discipline is what separates the few who rise from the countless who vanish. Discipline is what makes winners untouchable, because while others wait for the right mood, the right feeling, the right moment, the disciplined act. They act when tired. They act when uninspired. They act when everything hurts. They act no matter what. Discipline is war against yourself. It is the refusal to let weakness dictate your future. It is the iron grip on your mind that says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's convenient. I don't care what's easy. I will do what must be done. That is the voice of a champion. The undisciplined live as prisoners to their feelings. They obey every urge, every distraction, every craving. But the disciplined are free. Free from weakness, free from procrastination, free from the chains that bind ordinary people. Discipline is freedom because it makes you the master of yourself. Do not misunderstand this. Discipline is not glamorous. Discipline is not exciting. Discipline is boring, repetitive, and grueling. It is waking up before the sun while others sleep. It is showing up day after day after day, even when no one is watching, even when there is no applause, even when the results haven't arrived yet. Discipline means running the miles, lifting the weights, reading the books, doing the work over and over until it becomes a part of who you are. It is thankless in the beginning, but it is undefeated in the end. Because when discipline owns you, success has no choice but to follow. Think about it. How many times have you seen people start with energy, start with excitement, only to fade away when motivation runs out? They start diets, businesses, projects, dreams, all with passion, but passion evaporates when pressure arrives. Discipline does not evaporate. Discipline stays. Discipline endures. Discipline carries you across the finish line long after motivation is gone. That is why you must build discipline into your very bones. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the engine. Motivation may push you for a day, but discipline will carry you for a lifetime. The enemy will always test you. Life will throw storms at you. Distractions will tempt you. Weakness will whisper in your ear, skip today, take it easy. You've earned a break, and if you listen, if you give in, you lose ground. That is how defeat creeps in. One skip day at a time, one compromise at a time, one surrender at a time. But if you shut that voice down with discipline, if you rise anyway, if you do the work despite the temptation, you gain ground, you build power, you create momentum. Every act of discipline sharpens you, hardens you, strengthens you until you become unshakable. Discipline is the invisible work that becomes visible when it matters most. When the competition is tired, the disciplined are still moving. When the opposition doubts you, the disciplined are still grinding. When the world expects you to fold, the disciplined rise. Discipline makes you inevitable because it transforms consistency into mastery and mastery into dominance. You may not be the strongest at the start. You may not be the smartest. You may not even be the most talented, but with discipline, you will outlast them all. And in the end, victory does not belong to the one who starts fast. It belongs to the one who refuses to stop. Ask yourself, are you ruled by your emotions, or are you ruled by discipline? Because emotions will betray you. Emotions will tell you to stay in bed, to skip the grind, to take it easy. Emotions will push you to comfort, and comfort is the death of greatness. But discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect conditions. Discipline is loyal. It will serve you every single day if you have the strength to obey it. And if you obey discipline long enough, you will build a life that others cannot even imagine. Every empire ever built, every champion ever crowned, every legend ever remembered, discipline is the common thread. They were not superhuman. They were not gods. They were simply human beings who chained themselves to discipline so tightly that quitting was no longer an option. They became machines, unstoppable forces, because they understood what the weak never grasp. Talent fades, luck runs out, but discipline never fails. If you truly want to win, if you have made the decision to rise, then discipline must become your law, your religion, your unshakable code. You must train yourself to act without hesitation, to obey the grind without question, to execute without excuses. That is how destiny is shaped. That is how greatness is forged. Discipline is not just a habit, it is the weapon that ensures your victory. And if you dare to wield it without compromise, then nothing and no one can stop you. The moment you choose greatness, everything changes. It is not a casual moment. It is not a gentle thought. It is not a passing idea that drifts through your head and disappears with the noise of the day. No, it is violent. It is a war cry to the universe. It is the instant where you stand face to face with yourself and declare without hesitation, without apology, without retreat, I am done being average. I am done being weak. I am done being invisible. From this moment forward, I decide to win. That decision is not made lightly. It is not made with comfort in mind. It is made with blood in your eyes, fire in your chest, and steel in your spine. Because the second you decide to win, you must understand that everything around you will test that choice. Life will throw storms. Doubt will whisper lies. People will laugh. The weak will try to drag you back down into the pit of mediocrity where they live. But if your decision is real, if it is carved into your very bones, you will not bend. You will not break. You will not retreat, because the decision to win is final. This is the point where the indecisive get exposed. They claim they want greatness, but they hesitate. They say they want to rise, but they wait for the perfect time. They whisper about success, but their actions betray them. They never cross the line. They never burn the bridge. They never commit fully, so they never achieve anything. But the ones who truly decide, the ones who rip out hesitation by the roots and set fire to every escape route, they walk into a new life, one where there is no plan B, no fallback, no retreat. Winning becomes their only language. Victory becomes their only outcome. When you decide to win, failure no longer owns you. It becomes fuel. Every setback becomes a weapon. Every defeat becomes a lesson. You stop fearing mistakes because you realize they are stepping stones. You stop doubting yourself because you've already chosen your path. Failure cannot destroy the decided. It can only sharpen them. That is the freedom of choosing greatness. Once you decide, nothing can stop you except quitting, and quitting is no longer in your vocabulary. But understand this, deciding to win is not about words. It is not about shouting. It is not about posting slogans or pretending to be hungry. It is about action, ruthless, relentless, consistent action that proves your choice every single day. You cannot simply decide once and then coast. You must decide every morning when you wake up. You must decide every night when you are exhausted. You must decide in the moments where everything in you screams to quit. That is where the decision proves itself real, when it holds firm in the face of suffering. Think about the shift that occurs when you finally draw that line. Before, you were indecisive, torn between options, wondering if you should, if you could, if you might. But once you decide, there is no wondering, there is no hesitation. The path is clear. Forward, fight, win. That clarity is power. It allows you to focus every ounce of energy, every drop of sweat, every heartbeat into one direction. And when all of you is aimed at one outcome, you become unstoppable. The moment you choose greatness, the world feels it. You walk differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself like someone who knows exactly where they are going, and nothing can move them from their course. People around you will sense it. They will doubt you. They will challenge you. They will even fear you, because someone who has truly decided is dangerous. Someone who has decided is a storm. Someone who has decided cannot be bought, cannot be broken, cannot be silenced. And here is the ultimate truth. Life does not give you what you want. It gives you what you demand. And the only way to demand victory is to decide that it is yours, no matter the cost. You must look at your dreams and claim them with the fury of someone who refuses to die without achieving them. You must be willing to bleed, to sacrifice, to suffer, to endure, to fight until there is nothing left in you except the decision itself. Because when that moment arrives, when everything is stripped away and all that remains is the choice you made, you will see what separates the weak from the victorious. If you truly decide to win, then losing is not possible. Not because you won't stumble, not because you won't fall, not because you won't suffer, but because no matter what happens, you will rise again. You will keep going. You will keep fighting until victory is the only outcome left. That is what it means to choose greatness. That is what it means to step into your destiny. So the question is not, can you win? You can. The question is not, do you deserve to win? You do. The question is simple. Will you decide to win? Will you stop waiting? Will you stop hesitating? Will you stop wasting your life in the shadows of comfort and excuses? Will you finally draw the line, burn the bridges, and claim your crown? Because the second you do, the second you choose with all your soul, all your heart, all your being, you will rise. You will fight. You will win. And that moment, that decision, that choice, that is the birth of a champion.